Kraigg, after the fight you'd shown with the bat, particularly in Perth, was this a particularly disappointing Test match?
Yeah, very, very disappointing. Obviously, I thought the first game, as you said, we fought. We fought to day 5, which was good. This was a decent effort. Sorry. Coming here, we didn't show any fight at all. Obviously Australia bowled well, but we didn't fight.
Can you put your finger on why? I mean, a few of the players have been out here a long time, but not all of them. Can you put a finger on why this week was different?
Obviously, pink ball is always different. On the legs is always tough, but just at times probably a little tougher, a little better judgment at times. But it happens. Bad days happen and bad games. Obviously this was a bad game for sure. For us. But it's not the end of the world. We got a lot of Test cricket to play next year, so we got to look ahead.
Kraigg, you're back here again next summer. Is there anything from this tour that gives you confidence that you'll be more competitive next year?
Yeah, I think a lot of the guys, it was their first time to Australia, so I think the experience would help, and that is both as batsmen and as bowlers, and then seeing how Australia would have played, as how their batsmen would have started their innings, we could learn from that, starting, and then how their bowlers bowled throughout, throughout a spell, throughout. Because times in Perth they bowl for the whole day, but then you see the areas they bowl. So, it's stuff like that you got to learn from, and it's important when you come back. You don't necessarily make the same mistakes. Australia will always be a strong team at home, but the key with experience is to learn from them. So, it's important. We show that experience when we come back.
And are you determined to be the one to lead the team here again next year?
Well, yeah, for sure. Obviously I love Test cricket, and thankful for the job from obviously West Indies Cricket Board, and we just see how it goes. But I want to lead this team from the front, especially with the bat, and that's my job.
Kraigg, this has started off as a good year in Test cricket for the West Indies. So how do you judge this year? Do you just look at we started winning again, or how do you mix the disappointment of just this Test match and the fact that you lost again with that?
But I think in a year, you want to win every game, and you don't want to lose. But I think losing is a part of the game, and obviously this loss was a little disappointing in how we didn't show the fight. I was pleased with the first Test, in Perth. Despite it was a loss, we saw guys, fighting. To carry obviously a strong Australia team, into the last day by tea time. It was a decent effort. But I still think it was a good year for us. Very good year. Obviously losing one series, against probably #1 team in the world is it's not a bad effort. As I said, it's important to learn from this experience. Obviously we have South Africa next year, in March after Zimbabwe. We know, kind of similar conditions in South Africa. So, it's important we show that experience. This is what it's called, having an experience. You go through certain things, and it's important you learn from them. And it's important we do that. But, 100% behind this team. I think it's a good group, and, you can't always win. And it's important, you take a lot of points that, you fell short, and you learn from them, and, and look to do better.
And before the series started, you spoke about building a legacy for West Indies Test cricket, so that the next generation coming through wants to play Test. Is there a big bunch of young players coming through who want to play Test cricket, like you chose Test cricket? Are we going to see that next generation come through?
Yeah, I believe so. There's a lot of cricket we play, and a lot of guys playing first-class cricket, aspiring to perform and get to this level. So yeah, I do think so. I think it's important, we keep raising that level, both as batters and as bowlers. And as I said, you want to inspire, guys to want to represent West Indies, guys to want to get 5 in Australia and out the #1 batters in the world and score 100 against. That's what guys want to aim for, and it starts obviously in the first-class cricket, doing well, and it's all about attitude. You got to keep that same attitude throughout. It never changes, so it doesn't change from in first-class cricket. You come here and it's, you got to be tough. So when you go back down to playing first class, you know, you stay tough, you know, you get performances, it gives you confidence, you know, going in to play against world-class bowlers.
And just sorry, finally from me, you know, there's always this talk of this, you know, help them get back to being more competitive.
But obviously, I can't necessarily get him, you know, in terms of what, you know, the world will do. Obviously, my job is, you know, is to lead as a captain and, you know, on you know, test tours. And that's what I look to do. You know, when the group comes together, you know, push them hard, you know, let them know it's all about attitude. And, you know, I will continue to do that. And, you know, I think as a group, you know, we have the talent, we have the ability. You know, it's for us to believe in ourselves, you know, and I just say you learn from all the experiences, all the challenges you go through. You know, it's important. You learn something, even if it's not everything. You know, you learn something, you see improvement. I think that's the key, you know, to going forward and getting better consistently as a test team.
You spoke about during the first test about how impressed you were with your new opening partner. Australia had some quite extreme plans for you for this test, didn't they, in terms of the field as they set for it. Should he see that as a mark of respect?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily go that far. You know, it obviously shows, you know, they had a plan, you know, for him. And, you know, it showed that he's tough. You know, 'cause obviously you got, you know, Mitchell Stark coming in at 90 miles, you know, and you see a guy fighting like that. It says a lot, you know, for his character. And, you know, I thought he had a good start, you know, to his career. And, you know, as I said, I could really see him, you know, blossoming and having a, you know, superb career for West Indies.
And there's been quite a few visiting teams over the last few years suffered quite a few injuries to their fast bowling, Kraigg, and that's obviously been a real challenge for you guys on this tour. What is it about Australia that makes it so hard to bowl out here, and what can you do next year to maybe avoid that?
I can't necessarily say what it may be. But I would say, you know, test cricket, you know, puts a lot of mental stress, you know, on your body. So, you know, that could obviously be a reason. Obviously, hydrating is always important. You know, but I think being fit, you know, is the main thing. And I can't necessarily say why guys may get injuries here in Australia. But, you know, I just hope when we come back, you know, we don't have the amount of injuries we would have had, you know, maybe at least this time.
Obviously, this is the end of Phil's tenure. Just talk a little bit about him and I guess the sort of coach or mentor figure that you'd like to work with going forward, particularly in regard to Test cricket and the way you've been playing it.
Well, I thought Phil was you know, he did a good job. You know, I think he was stern when he had to be, because it's always important, you know, to push guys. Obviously, we don't live in the same country, you know, different islands. So, you know, when we come together, you know, it's important as a group. We really put in our work, and he really drove that. And you know, once we get a leader, I think that's the main thing. You know, someone obviously understanding the culture of, you know, of West Indians. And I thought, you know, Phil did a good job. And you know, I'm sure, you know, for sure we'll find a good coach to replace him. And you know, I have many years of, you know, great success and improvement, you know, in this test team.
And just you mentioned about, you know, being a region rather than a country. As captain, can you just talk about, I guess, the complexities of that, and you know, why it is different to the rest of the test playing nations, and I suppose what's most important as a captain when you're dealing with that?
Yeah, obviously everyone, you know, different islands, you know, some like different accents, and so it's obviously getting accustomed to each other's accent. But it's just really knowing the individual. Obviously, some guys may come in young, so it's important, you know, communication, you know, to them is important early on. And obviously, once you get to know, you know, because everyone's different. I think the key for us is how we manage players, and I think that's very important. You know, coming from different islands, you know, obviously you got to catch a plane, you know, and come across, and you know, sometimes it could be tough, you know, to get regular camps together, you know, because then a lot of guys playing different cricket. But I think communication is really important, you know, so, you know, when we're at home, we could still communicate. And I think that's the real key, you know, to gel the guys together, which, you know, we gel together really lovely. You know, as I said, we had a good year, you know, to be honest. I mean, coming here in Australia, playing against the number 1 team, you know, we knew it wouldn't have been easy. And as I said, we wanted 10 days of hard cricket. Obviously, we didn't get to the 10 days, but, you know, still very, very proud, you know, proud of this team, and, you know we could do some great things in the future.
And just lastly, in terms of the style of cricket, you know, you've emphasised the fight and sticking matches out, and you've had success doing that. Obviously, everyone around the world is talking about what England are doing, and, you know, that kind of really hyper-aggressive, I suppose, kind of style. Like, do you think going forward, you know, you sort of mesh those two together, or do you think the way that you're playing at the moment is the way you want to keep the team playing?
But I think how we are playing now, you know, is going well for us. Obviously, there's different type of players that will come in, you know, whether, especially as batsmen, you know, that may be a little more aggressive. And the encouragement to everyone is always to bat their plan, and that's one thing I want to continue to do. So, you know, whether it's, you know, batting a whole day 90 overs for 100 runs or batting it for double 100, you know, is to give the players the confidence, you know, to believe in their plans and do it for long periods. And I thought we done that well. And, you know, there's always improvement. You know, there's always improvement. And I think, you know, once you have that fight, you know, it's very important for me. And, you know, fighting is, you know, as I said, you got 10 overs to bat, you know, it won't be easy, but at least you see attitudes of guys, you know, see it in their eyes, they're willing to fight. You know, that's the sort of thing you want to create. And then I think, you know, run rate and everything will take care of itself.
Kraigg, one player you did manage to stop pretty well in the series was David Warner. What was your approach to him? Did you have any sort of particular plans that you had that you felt were successful to stop him?
Well, I think discipline was you know, really important. Obviously, we know he's a, you know, world-class player. And I thought the guys bowled well to him. Obviously, at times, you know, a little whitish balls, but I think being patient was very crucial. You know, I know we did that well. Obviously, you know, for the times he'd been there. You know, but, you know, still obviously 10 other batters. You know that. You know, but, you know, we did a good job to him for sure.